Right, finally I'm back. Part 2. Had some really weird stuff going on with my mouse and video capture stuff, so I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, so we can drop down to the weekly now. I'm going to put a vertical on this weekly candle as well, so that we can have a look at the monthly candle, so that we can have a look at what levels we get in between the here and here on the weekly chart. So there was nothing more I could really put on that monthly chart or talk about. Oh, the only thing I didn't talk about was the histo alert, and that is clearly below zero, and just suggesting this pullback going on as well. So once again, a bearish looking chart. Right, the weekly, we can clearly see we've got all these levels here now that will affect price if it does intend to go further up. The only two that really matter to us, three, sorry, that really matter to us at this point are here, here, and here. Oh, and these ones here that are currently affecting price. I was talking about those three, or three or four, when the price finally breaks this high, if it ever breaks that high. So we can draw all those in. This one will affect it, this one will affect it where we are, this is affecting it where we are. I don't think we've broken through any of them. The one below the price has been broken and closed through, so that's interesting. So currently we have a ton of support and resistance above us to be broken through. There, didn't draw it on for some reason. There, that weekly low there. These ones have been closed through with this candle here, but this one has to be tested, and this one has not been closed through by the look of it. Or has it? Yeah, it has. So this here will affect price still, and is affecting price still. The resistance levels haven't been closed through here, and here. That one, as you can see, has clearly been closed through by this candle, last week's candle. So we have a ton of support and resistance to get through for this to continue up. We could be creating a new candle. I'm not sure how it stands, whether the weekend's on Saturday or Sunday, because this is a 7-day-a-week chart. So, but regardless, if we fail to break this high, then categorically, in order to continue down, we need to close below that low. Technically, because this is a weekly reversal down here, low, high, high, low, high, 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 low, lower, high, lower, low there, we haven't got to reverse down through this with a close on the weekly, because we haven't reversed to the long side. So we aren't trading against a reversal. Hopefully that makes sense. If we were to reverse to the long side where we are now, we would need to close on the weekly above this level here. Then we have broken that reversal to the downside, and we are. So if this gets broken by a weekly chart, we are long, long, long. But that doesn't mean we just hit the trade. It means we wait for the pullback, ensure that it doesn't cancel this reversal, this potential reversal here, out with a reversal down. If it does, then we are short, 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 and we have to do the same again. Wait for the pullback, make sure it doesn't reverse on itself, and so on and so forth. And then we let the lower time frames lead the way. So in this instance, all we need is a daily reversal to the downside, and then we have all our ducks in a row. The weekly is reversed here. Sorry, the monthly is reversed here. The weekly has reversed, and if it reverses down on the daily, then we've got the monthly, weekly and daily in alignment. Then on the daily we wait for a pullback, and hopefully the daily won't reverse on itself. But if the H4 does to the long side, then we have to wait for the H4 to come back into alignment. We always try, there's nothing to stop the daily to come into alignment down here, and then the H4 not to pull back but just continue. Unfortunately, that becomes a difficult trade. We have to wait for the H4 to do some stuff at a lower point, pull back on H1, make sure it doesn't do on the H4, and continue with the down move. We always want to be trying to wait for the reversals, the retests of old support becoming new resistance, if possible. Sometimes it's not possible, and we just have to sort of let the trade go, or make a informed decision, and that's where experience comes into play. So hopefully you're following me. If you're not, watch this again and again and again until you do, or alternatively, if you watch this and want to ask me some questions about these videos, then by all means do. Had an instant recently where I got asked a question about someone else's trade, and quite frankly, with all the respect in the world to that person, I didn't make it clear, so it wasn't his fault. You know who you are. But to try and decipher someone else's trade with different indicators, different lines, different colours, and all the other stuff, it's just it encroaches too much. But to be able to explain what I'm talking about on these videos, and any question on these, that's easy for me because I'm so in tune with it. I hope that doesn't cause too many problems for people. So yeah, please ask questions if there's anything not clear in this. This is what I call the sort of Russian doll effect, where you get the monthly, this reversal here, providing it doesn't go against itself, then the weekly pullback here, which is happening now, doesn't create a weekly reversal, which I'm talking about there. Then we can rely on the daily reversal as the next duck in a row, or Russian doll if you like, for our entry in this instance. So we've pulled up. I haven't looked at this chart, so I can't see whether we've had a daily reversal, or I don't know. We had a daily reversal there, so we might have been tempted into a trade somewhere here. And this is what I was just trying to explain on the daily and H4. There's the pullback there, and we never got a entry, excuse me, on the H4. So we've had the confirmation down, it's gapped down, then it's instantly pulled back, so we wouldn't have been brought into the short trade. This is probably a confirmation on the H4. I'll draw the line there and see whether we've got that H4 reversal, but in fact we had the daily, the next candle anyway. Oh, I do apologise, I've got that wrong. The daily is confirmed down with this candle, and then it didn't take off. It took off in the right in the direction that we would expect it to. It's broken this ascending trend line, and we never got a pullback. However, we went into some sort of support here. You've got the flip zone and this massive support, and it's tested that. So you could in fact have got a trade in there if you'd have been really cheeky. But if you had followed the rules and waited for a pullback, then you would have watched it go, then you would have had your pullback, and then you would have confirmed against yourself, not only on the daily, because that's a low, high, high, low, high, high. We treat this as a high, low, high, high because it's an engulfing candle that's broken the high of swing 1. High, and a lower low because it broke the low, but then it's potentially gone down and then up. We can look on the H4 and see what that did in fact do. Let's take the scroll off. The H4 is hidden behind one of these by the looks of it, so I'll have to go back to the daily or maybe not, maybe I'm just in the wrong position. Highlight that, H4, there it is there, and as you can see, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So it did burst down and then it's reversed on itself. So now we have to wait for H4 to reverse back down, which it did here. Low, high, high, low, high, high. There's the close, the reversal. But at that stage, the daily is probably reversed up as well. That's the low, that's the break and close. And, well, we already had the daily reversal, I do apologise. So now we've got to wait for a new daily reversal to the short side. And this does work in real time, guys, real life. Because I trade it. There is the high, low, high, high, low, highest high. And then we need to see whether we can break below here in order to consider going short. Because that's the last, that's what I call my penultimate candle. And it did go short at this point here. Close below there. I'm not going to draw a line on because it just confuses matters at the moment. But once again we need to wait for the pullback to enter. So we need to be on this new candle and look at H4 again. And once we get the pullback, which we must religiously wait for, if it goes without us, it goes without us. And there's the pullback. The pullback just, tells you when we're ready to go short. If it wasn't ready, then you get that massive pullback. And you can do the song low, high, high, well, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, until it breaks and closes. Well, we've clearly closed. This is now even, we've broken all of this except this extreme high here with that big move. Let's just have a look at that high, see where that is. Wow. So the last resistance to be broken was that one there, which is where price is likely to come back and test. And it didn't quite touch it, but you can see why, because price just flew up, went to that level, broke it, closed above it, and then this one came back to test it. This isn't Harry hindsight glasses on, guys. This is real. This is my method doing its stuff. So now, in order to reverse on the H4, to start to realign with the daily and to realign with the weekly and the monthly, we need to close below here. On the H4. So, in a perfect world, I want to see this break and close below here, then pull back somewhere here, and then continue on down and come back into alignment with the daily, which means we need to break below this low here. I'm going to highlight that now, and then I need to double check, and obviously all the while we need to make sure these are in alignment as well. They're green, so we can't consider entering until they're red, preferably below the 20 line. So we need a daily close, below here, yeah, below there, for us to be short. So, to summarise for part 2, we need a reversal on the daily down below this green candle's low, a close, and then we will be back on for selling. Watch the pullback on the H4, make sure the daily doesn't reverse up again. If H4 reverses up, we've got to wait for H4 to come down. If H4 fails to reverse up on the reversal, then we need to look at H1 and watch H4. For H4 categorically needs to be red, below 0 preferably. The daily should coincide then with the red and potentially crossing below 0 if it comes all the way down here. Then, as I said, the H4 and H1 should start to lead the way downwards. Always watching these levels of support here to be broken as reversals down, and then we can sort of start to trade these gaps. We'd need to draw in all the H4 levels, but if we zoom out a bit, we need to look where we are in regards to this whole scenario here. We could draw a few trend lines on here now. We can connect all these highs that make new lows. So we could start with these two here, and then what I tend to do is tighten up as price progresses down. That's valid because that low was broken, and then we've got it failed to make a new high. That now is a valid connection level because this low was broken by price, and vice versa this one here. So I always like doing this as price goes on. Remember, this is a daily chart, so plenty of time to do your analysis. And then as price pushes up, we can see it has a sort of stairway to go through these descending trend lines. Here we can do an ascending one with this and this, because that high has been broken there by that high. So you can see now price is starting to weaken off. On the H4 chart, we could have done a descending trend line on here as well. Connecting the highs that break previous lows. Oops. I'm going to call it a day at this video now. So that broke that here, and this failed to break. Oh no, it did, it broke low as well, so we could have tightened that one up. That low, which is just behind the green line, broke that low there. So little bit of significance. It's going long, but if we drew one on the H1 chart, we've got here, broke here, and there's not really an awful lot more we can do there. Oh, we have got a high, low, lower, high, lower, low, so we've got one over there. So as you can see now with our horizontal and how I draw my descending and ascending trend lines, you see it clearly on the line chart there. High, low, lower, high, lower, low, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, broke that, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's about all we can say on this chart now. For me, I don't like trading this thing, and you know, all this stuff I've done on the previous charts, reversal, candlestick reversals, we can clearly see at the moment we are in an H1 long reversal scenario. That's the low. So here's your high, the green one, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, low, high. Keep singing the song until the green is broken and closed through. In fact, it's an inside bar, that green, so I'd rather see that high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So if this is going to go long, that H1 needs to be closed above. And then we can look at the H4, and we can see that H4 would be the next level to break above. So if that gets broken above and closed above, I would expect this to go further north, which it might do today, close some of these gaps here. But meanwhile, it's got to break through all these, and I didn't want to get too into this, but let's just draw the highest high on that and see what happens later today. Oh, that's the one that needs to be broken. Normally I would spend time taking off unnecessary levels on here, but I don't want to make this video any longer and complicate things anymore. So hopefully you can see how I build up my picture of price action in my own sort of unique way. We've also got this clearly. I talk about the histogram. If you look at some of my other videos, you'll see I talk about a break and burst, or a burst, break and close. So we've got a little burst there. If we broke and close above that with the H4 reversal, preferably above this. I'm not familiar with this too much. The spread is 3600. I'm not sure what that gap is there, but if that broke, pulled back, and then showed us continuation, yeah, there's only 2,000, not even 2,000 or 20 pips to be made there, or whatever that, however it works, 2,000 micro pips. But that's how I trade it. Now, if this was a cable chart with a 1.5 pip spread, and that was 10 pips, you can understand where these levels are tradable. You know, that's when that gap there, but broken below there, got a massive gap there. That's probably on cable, that'd be 20 or 30 pips. So I haven't got a clue with Bitcoin, but the levels and the way I draw my trend lines and the way I understand the connectability, if you like, interaction of the different time frames on each other. If we were going long, we would have to make sure at least 2 time frames higher agreed with us. So we need daily to be green, which it is today, H4 to do its stuff, and we could consider attacking this level and this descending trend line. Okay, that's part 2 done. Thanks for watching. We will see how this progresses today, or over the weekend, should I say.